This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.
78-year-old woman who shot and killed her terminally ill husband in his hospital bed last year, sentenced Friday to just over a year in prison, followed by 12 years of probation in a case that has raised complex questions about mercy, mental health, and public safety. Ellen Gilland pled no contest to manslaughter with a firearm and 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in the January 23 shooting death of her 77-year-old husband, Jerry Gilland, at Advent Health Hospital. She was sentenced to 366 days in state prison, receiving credit for 42 days already served. Circuit Judge Kathryn Weston also ordered her to write apology letters to the nurse and first responders she pointed a firearm at after the shooting. I held the gun behind his ear. I pulled it away and asked him if he was sure, Gilland said in court. He raised his hand, placed it on my arm, and pushed the gun into his head. There was a loud bang, and he was gone. Her account suggested a pact between the couple. The prosecutors argued that Gilland's actions endangered numerous others. After shooting her husband, she barricaded herself in the hospital room for hours, prompting a standoff with police. Body cam footage showed officers pleading with her to surrender while she allegedly pointed her revolver at them. At one point, she reportedly fired a second shot into the ceiling as police deployed a flashbang and taser. So this wasn't just assisted suicide. It's more like, I can shoot everyone in the hospital type thing.
You know, I think, and if you see her photo, she's a frail-looking woman. And I think she, uses a walker to walk with. I think she had a mental break.
Yeah, that's her.
I think that, it is suggested that she had a murder-suicide pact with her husband and that she really thought that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like somebody's grandma, right?
She is somebody's grandma. Can you imagine that being your grandma? And where's my grandma? Let's go.
My guess is she's never been in trouble before.
Yeah.
And, watching someone you've been married to for a long time go through what he's going through, I think she snapped. Yeah. And I think she was carrying out his own wishes. Mm-hmm. And then after it was over, I can't imagine the horrific scene that was after it was over.
Yeah.
It would have been pretty horrific. And to look at your husband, this person you love, and you just did that. And I don't know. I think she just snapped.
I'm going to go with that.
And then what do you do? I'm kind of surprised she just didn't put the gun down and be like, I did it. And
that's probably what the plan was, I would think. But I can't imagine you're like, okay, I'm going to help you, leave this world, and then I'm going to have a standoff with police.
Or maybe it was she was going to kill herself.
Suicide by cop, and she couldn't do it herself?
No, or just hold the gun to her own head and she just couldn't do it.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe she wanted to die, but try to do suicide by cop.
Yeah, it could have been.
Like she thought she would do it, but just couldn't do it, and was like, well, I'll let them kill me. But you can't do that. You can't go and shoot up a hospital.
And traumatize all those people.
Yes.
Everybody's lives were in danger.
Jesus Christ.
Day.
The taser was ineffective on her.
And I wonder too, I don't know this. I wonder if she has any dementia issues herself.
I'd wonder that too.
Because, at her age, she could certainly have issues with dementia.
Can you imagine shooting this woman with a taser and she just keeps going?
Right? It's like, you think she would collapse.
You'd be like, it's The Walking Dead.
It's just, so I don't know. It's like I don't know what the plan was.
Officers,
I don't know. She thought, I'm going to go in and shoot him and shoot up everybody else too. Or
officers eventually subdued Gilland without further injury. Inside her hospital room, police found a box containing 45 live rounds. An additional 100 rounds were discovered in her. What the fuck? What was she planning? This seems like she might have been planning more than just taking out hubby.
It just makes me wonder if she just doesn't have some dementia issues.
Why would I mean?
Did her husband really want to die that way? He's in a hospital. He's obviously not doing well.
I'm kind of wondering that too, because this is a story she presents like it's this, sad, I'm doing this humane thing story, but you got 45 live rounds and 100 more in your car for helping your husband commit suicide. What?
You only needed one.
Yeah.
Two if you were planning on yourself.
It kind of looks like you were kind of setting up for a little barricade situation. A nurse who was present during the incident, Hector Aponte, testified that he was so traumatized he left his job and still suffers from nightmares. I don't feel safe anymore, he told the court. That testimony weighed heavily on Judge Weston's decision. I can't begin to understand how difficult it would have been for you to actually pull the trigger to assist your husband in ending his own life, she said. I do believe that's what you did, but I also believe your actions put others at serious risk. Originally charged with first-degree murder, Gilland eventually reached a plea deal in December. Her defense team argued that she was driven by mental health crisis triggered by her husband's deteriorating condition. A psychiatrist testified that her depressive episode had passed and that she no longer posed a danger. Two nieces pledged to care for Gilland upon her release, promising a firearm-free environment and transportation to the court. Despite the defense's plea for leniency, prosecutors emphasized the broader threat Gilland posed by bringing and discharging a firearm inside a full hospital. This case is troubling, the prosecution said. She loved her husband, but she made a decision that jeopardized lives. Outside court, Gilland's niece, Bo Teamy, expressed surprise at the outcome. I really thought I'd be bringing her home today, she told WESH. I'm shocked. I'm very worried about her, but I'm told it's fair and actually a good outcome. Gilland is expected to serve the remainder of her sentence at a Florida correctional facility before being brought out on probation.
I think that sentence is actually quite fair because she did traumatize people, and she put people's lives at risk. And, the fact that anybody would have thought after killing someone and then a standoff, you get a pass just because you're elderly.
That's essentially what she's getting.
Mm-hmm.
And if she was 41 in this, she'd be spending the next 40 some years in prison. But because you're old, it's like, oh, we can go give it to your niece. Your two nieces are going to care for you.
But the fact that they really thought she'd come home that day, that kind of surprises me. Because this is a pretty extreme crime. And even if she would have shot her husband without the standoff, that's still murder.
It probably wouldn't have caused all of this, but the standoff, I think, is what brought this to this. Why would you... Again, I do wonder about her mental state, or if there is some dementia going on, it's a very weird thing to go to. But if you're in that trauma position too, maybe it doesn't have to be dementia. It could just be trauma. And
did he really want to die this way? Did he really do that? Like what she said, well, he grabbed my hand and put it to his head. And
I wonder.
Next thing I know, loud bang. Was that what he wanted? He's in the hospital. My guess is, I don't know why he was in the hospital, but at his age, it might have been a terminal situation. I don't know.
But if you're there
it might have been.
And I mean, if you're, okay, I'm going to do this for you. And I mean, you got to kind of be able to do that on your own terms, I guess, too, if you're the one that's going to pull the trigger there in that type of an event. And if he just reaches up, grabs a hand and boom, does it, she might have not been ready for that too, which that may have just thrown her into a trauma state as well.
Could have, yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, it's sad
all around,
situation because she looks like somebody who's never gotten a speeding ticket.
She looks like she's waiting for her bingo card to be delivered.
Yes, yes.
And she's
very
going to
much.
have the card and she's going to have the machine as well. And she already bought 120 tickets on the machine. And she's got the dabbers in her purse and she's ready to fucking go because this is bingo.
Or she's going to be playing bingo this afternoon in her nursing facility. You know, she's just, it's just sad.
Or watching The Price is Right and hoping that she's the next contestant.
It's kind of like her dream. That's what she looks like.
She should have the sticker. You know, the big yellow.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't ask me how or why, but I happen to have a Price is Right.
Okay, I did not see that coming, especially with your Anthony.
I knew, like, actually right behind this monitor on the locker back here is a real Price is Right sticker. I saw the live version of Price is Right at, I think it was Tulsa last year. And it was fun. It was very fun. I did not get to be a contestant on The Price is Right. But
you didn't get to come on down.
I did not get to come on down, but I did have that. You never know when I have a prop nearby within arm's reach.
I was not ready for that. I don't know where that came from or how it just happened to be stashed there, but that was awesome.
The random shit that I have in this house, I tell you.
Craving non-stop true crime updates? Press subscribe now and get the latest cases, analysis, and expert commentary delivered straight to your feed. Only from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.